Hey everyone, this is a little troubleshooting video for the Komodo Plus. Some of you guys are having a few issues with it. More than likely, you're using the Teijin MFU and NiCad batteries. And basically, the Teijin MFU I've found to be really power hungry, and it sucks the power out. And when you do certain maneuvers and stuff like that, it'll cause the Komodo possibly to brown out. Or not function properly. So best way to, first thing you need to do is look at improving your battery. That might be getting a LiPo battery rather than a NiCad or NIMH battery. I use LiPos and I don't have any significant problems or any problems at all. So that's one thing you can look at doing. The other thing you might look at doing is adding some large capacitors to filter out any bumps in the current supply. Now there's two places for you to add capacitors, and I'll show you those on this board here that I've done up. We'll have a look at over the back first. Okay, now there's two supplies being used on Komodo. Coming in from your input here is the voltage direct from your battery. So that's being supplied by your Teijin or Henglong MFU. And it's a drop on these pins that is causing the problems. So you can do one of two things. You can put a capacitor across these pins, or you can put a capacitor just to supply the microcontroller, which is sitting there. So we'll look at doing that first, because it's probably the easier of the two. Now the microcontroller works on 5 volts. So you need to choose a capacitor, an electrolytic capacitor of at least 5 volts. So you'll get them in 6.3. I'll see if I can. You could probably read that there. That says 6.3 on 1200 UF. Now the UF is the capacitance, so you want to get as high as you possibly can, and at least 6.3 volts. Now you can solder that in simply across here. On the flash output here, you've got a ground supply and a positive voltage supply. So just solder your negative supply, your ground supply for your capacitor, onto the 0 volt pin, and then of course the other pin of your capacitor onto the voltage plus pin. And you can do it like that, and that's not too bad a fixing there, and then just add some hot glue to make it all secure. So that's one capacitor you can add, a 5 volt, 6.3 volt, you won't get them in 5 volt, and as high as you can, at least 1000 UF, and solder that in there. Okay, you can go that route, or you can put a large capacitor across the voltage input. Now, I didn't particularly have a large one. This one is only 470 UF, but you would want to get as big as you possibly can, at least 1000. But I've soldered this one in there just to show you. Now, I don't know if you can read there, but it says 16 volts. Now, the voltage supply coming in on these pins is your battery voltage, which will be at least 7 volts. So you can't use the old 6.3 volt capacitors across these pins. So you'll need at least a 16 volt capacitor and at least 1000 UF, or as high as you can. And the same situation as underneath. You wire. The capacitor will have a stripe there to show you the negative. Okay, so that pin you will solder onto your ground pin, which is this pin here, and then of course your other supply you'll solder to the middle pin here. Okay, and that will filter across the input on your Komodo. So you can choose one or the other. Put a capacitor here or put a capacitor there. If you really want to do it, you can put one across both, and hopefully that will filter out some of the drops in voltage, and make sure that there's enough supply going to your microcontroller, which sits there, to stop it from restarting. So that's a quick fix. Well, it is a minor quick fix for your Komodo, and hopefully we'll sort out that brownout problems. Okay, thank you.